Did you know that the cooking recipes from our grandmothers have been tested over the years and generations? Did you know that the cuisine of the past years has become the most high quality and balanced? Watch the video to the end and you will learn about 10 forgotten recipes of our grandmothers that will still be relevant today. Are you ready? Put the pancakes aside. And let's go! If you look into Grandma's culinary notes, you can find an excellent and time-tested method for preparing zrazy. Although the origin of this dish is still debated among Poland, Belarus, and Lithuania, it has long won the hearts of food lovers far beyond its historical homeland. It has long won the hearts of lovers of delicious food. Far beyond its historical homeland. Peel the potatoes and place them in a pot of salted water, then boil for about 20 minutes after the water comes to a boil. Sauté the finely chopped onion and chicken fillet in 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil until fully cooked. Drain the water from the cooked potatoes and mash them with a potato masher until smooth. Let it cool a bit, then add a raw chicken egg and mix thoroughly. Next, add the flour. Mix it one more time until the mixture becomes elastic and easy to shape. Season the fried mixture of meat and onions with a pinch of black pepper and pass it through a meat grinder twice. The filling for this zrazy is ready. Take a tablespoon of mashed potatoes, roll it into a ball, and then gently flatten it. Place a tablespoon of the prepared filling in the center. Shape the edges like a regular pie, giving the zrazy their characteristic oval shape. Roll each cutlet in breadcrumbs. Fry the zrazy over medium heat until they develop a golden crust. Transfer the finished dish to a plate and serve it warm, adding sour cream and herbs. I want to share with you another forgotten recipe from our grandmothers. We're talking about sorrel borscht, which is often called green soup. There are many variations of this dish. Some prefer to add an egg to it, while others like to serve it hot. The third one is cold. Personally, I love all 3 options. Grandma's green borscht consists of 2 stages: making the meat broth and cooking the soup itself. This will only take about half an hour of your time. You'll need minimal kitchen equipment. You only need 1 pot. Making the broth. Pour cold water over the meat, bring it to a boil, and remove the foam that forms. Then, lower the heat and let it cook until the meat is tender. Preparing the vegetables. Cut the tofu into large pieces, and dice the onion and carrot into small cubes, about 5 millimeters. It's best to start preparing the vegetables closer to when the meat is almost done to avoid them darkening. You can also boil some eggs. When the meat is almost done to avoid them darkening, you can boil some eggs. For serving, when the broth is ready, add the potatoes, and a little later, the onion and carrot. It's important to remember that potatoes don't cook well in an acidic environment, so you should add them earlier. Then sorrel. Chop herbs. Add or sprinkle on soup. The other herbs should be chopped smaller. Greens can be added directly during the cooking process or sprinkled on the finished soup before serving. Add the sorrel to the broth and let it simmer for a couple of minutes. Long cooking is not recommended, as the sorrel may become too soft and lose its texture. The borscht is ready. Serve it hot with fresh herbs, half a boiled egg, and a spoonful of sour cream. Fermented dairy products go perfectly with a light summer soup. Grandma's recipes are simple and tried and true. They are passed down from generation to generation, becoming an integral part of family traditions. One of those dishes is stuffed vegetables, which are especially popular among the family. To successfully make stuffed peppers, it's better to use a wide pot with thick walls, where a sufficient amount of ingredients can fit, without the risk of burning. First, prepare the peppers. Carefully cut out the core, removing the seeds and inner membranes from the peppers. Rinse the vegetables under cool water and place them whole side down on a towel to drain any excess liquid. In the meantime, boil the rice until it's partially cooked. Combine the rice with your choice of ground meat or poultry. Add the sautéed onions and carrots. Season with salt. Fill the prepared peppers with this mixture, making sure to pack the filling tightly inside. Place the stuffed peppers in the pot vertically, with the open side facing up. Now, let's make the sauce. Mix the tomato paste, sour cream, and warm boiled water until you get a smooth consistency. Add salt, and that's it. Pour the sauce over the vegetables so that they are completely covered with liquid. Bring the mixture to a boil, then reduce the heat and simmer the dish on low for about 40 to 45 minutes until fully cooked. The stuffed vegetables are ready. Serve it with sour cream or mayonnaise, enjoying every bite of this homemade treat. Pea soup has been and still is one of the most popular dishes in Russian cuisine. It was appreciated for its simplicity in preparation and rich flavor. About 40 to 50 years ago, the basis for the soup was often special briquettes sold in stores. However, our grandmothers skillfully replaced them with ordinary peas. Before you start cooking, you need to soak the washed peas in cold water and leave them for a few hours. It's best to do it overnight. Water must completely cover the peas. After the time is up, drain the water and rinse the peas again. To make the broth, take some bone-in chicken meat. Rinse it, place it in a pot, and cover it with cold water. When the water boils, skim off the foam, add the peas, and continue to cook over medium heat for about 40 to 45 minutes, occasionally skimming off any foam that forms. In the meantime, get the vegetables ready. Peel and dice the potatoes and onions, and grate the carrots on a coarse grater. Sauté the onions in a heated skillet with vegetable oil until they become translucent. Then add the carrots and sauté everything together. Another 3 to 4 minutes. Add salt and pepper to taste. Stir it all together and take it off the heat. When the peas reach a semi-cooked stage, take the chicken out of the pot and let it cool. Add the diced potatoes to the soup. Add a bay leaf, salt, and pepper to taste. Once the potatoes are soft, add them to the pot. Add the sautéed vegetables and the chicken fillet, which has been separated from the bones and cut into pieces. Stir it all together, add spices to taste, and let it cook on the heat for a couple more minutes. The hot and fragrant pea soup is ready. Before serving, garnish it with finely chopped fresh herbs. You can also serve croutons, made by toasting sliced bread in a skillet or in the oven. There's also a version of pea soup with smoked meats. In my opinion, it's the tastiest. Mimosa salad is an exclusively Russian dish. In the past, and even now, it remains an essential feature of festive tables. The top layer of grated yolk, resembling the delicate petals of the flower of the same name, made it especially appealing. However, unlike mimosa, which we can see in the spring, this salad is available all year round. After all, its ingredients don't depend on the season. The key element to success is choosing high-quality canned fish. It can be any pink salmon, sardines, or tuna. There are two versions of the mimosa salad, homemade and restaurant style. The classic recipe includes fish, eggs, onion, cheese, butter, and mayonnaise. Home cooks often add potatoes and carrots to the salad, without cheese and butter. I'll definitely talk about the homemade version. The eggs for the mimosa should be boiled for no more than 10 minutes after the water starts to boil, otherwise the yolks can take on an unpleasant grayish tint. The first layer of the salad will be the flaked fish, mashed, then mayonnaise, then chopped onion, more mayonnaise, then grated boiled potatoes and mayonnaise. Then, a layer of grated boiled potatoes is spread on top, and again, mayonnaise is applied. The next layer is grated egg whites and carrots. Between them, there's also mayonnaise. The final layer will be the crumbled yolks. The most delicious mimosa salad according to Grandma's recipe is ready. It's best to let it sit in the fridge for a couple of hours so the salad can soak in all the flavors. Do you remember the divine taste and smell of Grandma's pastries? Today, I'm going to tell you how to make them. The classic dough recipe for pastries involves using fresh yeast, which is first dissolved in warm milk. Next, add sugar, salt, eggs, and a bit of vegetable oil, and a little bit of vegetable oil. The resulting mass is left in a warm place until it rises well. After that, the dough is gently kneaded, rolled out, and shaped into pastries, which are then allowed to rest for about another hour. Another popular dough for pastries is a simple recipe using kefir, which is well known among home cooks. Like fluffy dough. You only need a few ingredients for it: flour, sugar, kefir, and yeast. You can use both instant and dry yeast. This dough variant is different because it doesn't contain any eggs. You can make pastries from any of these types of dough in two ways. Fry them in a pan with vegetable oil or bake them in the oven. First, brush the surface with beaten egg to create a delicious golden crust. One of the most popular fillings for pastries was stewed cabbage. Cabbage with chopped hard-boiled eggs, fluffy rice with eggs, green onions with eggs, and mashed potatoes with fried onions and dill. These fillings were simple, but incredibly delicious. Pastries with meat filling, fish, and rice or liver were more filling. Liver was made up of minced beef or pork liver, lungs, and heart. These pastries could make a full lunch or dinner. And for those with a sweet tooth, grandmothers would make pastries filled with thick sweet jam, apples, or fresh berries. Cherry, strawberry, raspberry. It was a real delight. Cottage cheese puffs made using a grandma's recipe have a unique taste and aroma. These tender and fluffy treats turn into a real culinary masterpiece, thanks to the right selection of ingredients and following all the cooking steps. First, you need to gather all the ingredients: eggs, sugar, vanilla sugar, salt, cottage cheese, and flour. Eggs whipped with sugar create the base for the dough, and adding cottage cheese gives it a special texture and rich flavor. It's important to mix all the components thoroughly so that the mixture is uniform and smooth. The dough balls are fried in oil until they're golden brown. This process requires special attention, as it's important to keep an eye on the oil temperature and frying time. The finished puffs are best served with honey, condensed milk, or powdered sugar. These fragrant and golden cottage cheese donuts complement your morning coffee or tea and serve as a wonderful dessert for a family dinner. They're easy to make and please everyone who tries them with their exquisite flavor, and also a wonderful dessert for a family dinner. They are easy to prepare and delight everyone who tries them with their exquisite taste. One day, I found an interesting recipe for English Christmas fruitcake in my grandma's notebook. The recipe is so original, and the dish itself is incredibly delicious that I just have to share it. You'll need currants from the berries. You can use frozen ones, candied pineapples and any citrus fruits, raisins, dates, and candied cherries. You'll also need 2 cups of flour, 1 cup each of sugar and butter, 6 eggs, juice from 1 lemon, 1/4 cup of grape juice, and some spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice. The cooking method is simple. Rinse the raisins and currants, dry them off, blend the raisins in a blender, pit the dates, and cut them with scissors into small pieces, into crosswise slices. Mix the dried candied fruits and chopped fruits. In a separate bowl, mix the flour, salt, and baking powder. Sift the flour mixture over the fruits and mix it with your fingers. In another bowl, beat the butter, gradually adding the sugar. First, add the beaten eggs, then gradually mix in the fruit and flour mixture one at a time. Mix it well. Pour the batter into a deep baking dish that's well greased with butter and lined with parchment paper. Bake at 135 degrees Celsius for 3 hours. After baking, brush the surface with a glaze made from 2 tablespoons of molasses and half a cup of water. Garnish with roasted almonds, candied cherries, or any other nuts. The amazing Christmas fruit cake is ready. This treat will be a true centerpiece for your table and will delight your loved ones. Manic, love, tradition, memory. It's the embodiment of care and love that gets passed down from generation to generation. When you smell the aroma of fresh manna filling your home, it immediately comes to mind. Childhood, family gatherings, and warm conversations over a cup of hot tea. Today, I'm going to share with you Grandma's easy recipe for cherry manic. Recreate it in any kitchen. Let's start by preparing the batter. In a deep bowl, mix the kefir or plain yogurt with the eggs. Gradually add the semolina, sugar, flour, and baking powder. Mix everything thoroughly until you have a smooth batter. Let the batter sit for 30 minutes, so that the semolina has time to swell. The longer the batter sits, the fluffier and more tender the mannik will turn out. While the batter is resting, prepare the baking pan. Grease it with butter, or line it with parchment paper. Pour 1/3 of the cherries into the bottom of the pan, spreading them evenly across the surface. Then pour in the batter and gently smooth it out with a spatula. On top, add the remaining cherries. Preheat the oven to 100 degrees, 80 degrees. Place the pan with the batter in the preheated oven and bake the mannik for 1 hour. Check if it's done with a wooden skewer. If it comes out dry, that means the mannik is ready. Take the semolina cake out of the oven and let it cool for a bit. Slice it into portions and serve it up with hot tea or milk. Enjoy every bite, reminiscing about the warm moments of childhood and creating new traditions in your family. Beet soup is a vibrant and aromatic dish that's often confused with borscht, but it has its own unique features. Beet soup is made in a special way and can be served both hot and cold. Your grandma probably had her own special recipe for beet soup. I'll tell you about the version that my grandma used to make. It includes a wide variety of vegetables: beets, onions, carrots, potatoes, and garlic. The base for the soup is a meat broth. A generous portion of beets is added. Potatoes should be boiled separately, while the other vegetables are sautéed with some tomato paste. Once the vegetables are in the pot, let the beet soup cook for about 15 more minutes. Beet soup is best served with sour cream and herbs, no matter whether you prefer it warm or chilled. Our grandmas really knew how to cook well. Regardless of whether you prefer it warm or chilled, our grandmas really knew their way around good cooking. I hope you enjoyed the recipes and that you'll happily add them to your collection. And also, friends, I have an interesting offer for you. You have a unique opportunity to become part of our team. If you have video editing skills, you can voice videos in Russian, English, and other languages. Or you can write interesting scripts. We would be happy to work with you. Drop a comment for us, Telegram bot. The link is in the description. And that's all for today. See you later, everyone.